here and welcome back to my channel. What this movie or this upload is about is a movie review. If you haven't seen my other one already, it's about a horror movie that just recently came out called Unfriended. And with my movie reviews, I always make sure that I point out both good things and bad things, so that way even if I really love the movie or really hate the movie, you're going to get both ends, both pros and cons of that film. And then also I give it a rating, which is a rating out of 10, 10 being you absolutely have to go see it, get off your ass right now and go watch it, it's that good. And otherwise, I kind of tell you what the movie's about, what the genre is, and just little key points here and there. I try not to give away anything big. Of course, it's a movie review, so I may accidentally give away a few things that haven't been in trailers or previews, so just keep that in mind. If it's a movie you haven't seen before and you absolutely hate any type of spoiler, you probably shouldn't be watching the movie review, at least not until after you've seen the movie, to see if it's something that you do agree with. If you have any suggestions on movie reviews that I can do in the future, please let me know in the comments below, or you can send me a message. Either way, give me your ideas. And if it's a movie I don't have already, I have well over 200 DVDs, so I probably do, unless it's a really, really old or really rare movie. Also, I don't really have any rare foreign films, so if it's something that may be popular in France or Germany, but it's not popular in the United States, it probably isn't something I've seen before, so keep that in mind. I do have films like The Pan's Labyrinth, so I do have some foreign films, but again, anything really, really rare or very, very old and rare, I probably don't have it, but I can still probably download it. So still, if it's something you want me to do a movie review on, let me know. I'll do what I can, and if not, I'll let you know. Anyways, what this movie review is going to be about is a movie called Snatch, so let's go. Snatch is an action comedy that's rated R for nudity, language, and violence. It's basically about a jewel thief who's on his way to his boss in New York, but along the way he stops in London. Basically what happens is he does one thing that leads to another, that leads to another, and all of this stuff leads to drama, leads to action, murder, while all being very comedic along the way. So this definitely has both the sense of comedy and action throughout the entire film. It's kind of confusing to explain what the movie's really about because there's a bunch of different groups of people or individual people, and the whole time the movie bounces around through all of these people or all of these groups. So that way you're seeing what's going on with all of them, and you get to see how one action leads to another or how one event leads to another. So it's basically just all these events, a domino effect of events, if you will, and basically how it all plays out in the end. So the first thing I'm going to talk to you about are what I call high points. High points are things that I really liked about the film, and then afterwards I'll talk about the low points, which are things that either I didn't like, or things that I thought could have been done differently, or things that I see other people not liking. So even if it's something that didn't bother me, it's still something that I could see bothering certain people. So first off, let's get to the high points. Say about what I really liked about this film is the fact that it's very unique. To this day, I have never seen anything like it, so they definitely nailed it in the unique category. Another thing that I really like, and one of the reasons that the movie is so unique, is that there's different groups of people or different individuals, and these groups or these individuals may not know each other or have even heard about one another, but it shows you how one person's actions will result in the actions of another person or an event through another group or another person. So it's really interesting and it's really realistic because it's true. What we do, we may not realize it, but it could affect somebody totally different, somebody we have no connections to or we think we have no connections to. But one action always leads to another in life. We know this. So this movie really points that out and really shows you how, again, what one person does affects somebody totally different across town. So it's really interesting how they did that, and I really like how you get to see all these different groups and all these different people and what they're doing and how it affects other people. And then what's really cool is that at the end, it really ties everybody together in one shape or form. And it's really interesting how they tie everything together and how they really show you why everybody's connected. And the other thing I really liked was that it's both comedy and action, and it nails both of them perfectly. The whole time there is always stuff going on. There are thugs, there are guns, there are violence, there is murder, there's deception, there's gambling. I mean, there's just so much going on that is definitely action-based, but at the same time they manage to keep it funny along the way. So even when something's really serious, you find yourself laughing, whether in that moment or just a moment later. So I thought they did a wonderful job at tying those two categories together. Usually I don't think comedy and action go together, simply because comedy is fun, it's upbeat, it makes you laugh, while action, you're sitting on the edge of your seat, you don't know what's going to happen next, your heart's racing because you're so excited. So to put these two together, sometimes I can feel that it's not the easiest thing to do. Like, you either have to have a comedy moment and then an action moment, but you can't put them together. And then with this movie, they put them together and they did a wonderful job at that. So the next thing I'm going to talk to you about is the low points, things that I either thought could have been done differently or things that I think other people may have a hard time with. So let's get to it. I want to talk to you about are low points. Low points are things that I feel could have been done differently or things that I feel other people may feel should have been done differently. For me personally, these low points are not a big deal. It doesn't bother me, but I can see it bothering other people. And I also feel these low points, there's different ones, but I feel like they all tie into each other. So basically, the first low point I want to bring up is that if you're not in the mood to pay attention, this is not the kind of movie you want to watch. This is definitely a movie that can be very, very confusing, and that's another low point to some people. It's just the kind of movie where you have to keep watching because one moment they could be doing one thing in the film, I should say, they, not you. They could be doing one thing in the movie, and then suddenly they cut to another person, and they just do this for a few seconds, you see something this person does, and then they cut back to that group. Now, 20 minutes later, they go back to that other person, and you're wondering, who the hell is this? What's going on? What are they talking about? Because if you weren't paying attention the whole time, you may have missed those few seconds where that became a big deal. So for that reason, if you're looking for a movie to watch with a large group of friends, this probably isn't it. If you're looking for a movie to watch with somebody you know has a hard time paying attention or talks a lot during movies, this probably isn't the movie for you either. I see this being the kind of movie you either watch alone, you watch with a small group of friends that you know have an easy time paying attention and don't talk a lot during movies, or if you have a girlfriend who's really into these kind of movies. Like me personally, I'm a girl, but I love action films. I love all movies personally. I have no favorite genre. I love them all. So if you have a girlfriend that you think would be into this kind of movie, then this is a great movie for a couple, as long as you know that the person you're with doesn't talk a lot during movies. I mean, basically the whole point I'm trying to get across is this is a movie you have to both watch and listen to, or you're going to be very confused. And I know a lot of people are probably wondering, why would you watch a movie if you're not going to pay attention? But I know a lot of people who watch movies and they do it more as background noise. So they're on the computer or they're hanging out with friends or whatever it is they're doing. They like a movie where they can be talking to somebody for 5 minutes and then look back at the movie, watch it for 15 minutes, go back to talking to someone and go back and forth. And the whole time they're still able to follow what's going on with the movie. They're never really confused, or if something does happen, it gets explained later on, or at least you kind of figure out what's going on. This isn't one of those movies. Again, this is definitely a movie you have to sit, watch, and listen. If you're not going to, you're going to get confused. So yeah, that's really the only low point that I could think of with this movie. So the next thing that I want to talk to you about is my rating. When I do a rating, I always do it out of a 10. 10 being, get off your ass and go see the movie right now, it's that amazing. So what I want to give this action comedy Snatch is an 8 out of 10. You may be thinking that's very high, and in my opinion it is a high rating, but simply because this movie deserves it. The reasons being that it's very unique. Like I said before, I have never seen a movie like this. This storyline is 100% original, and they did an absolutely great job at keeping it original without it being way too weird or way too confusing in my opinion. Now, as I said earlier, it's definitely a movie that you need to pay attention to. If you're not in the mood to sit down and use both your eyes and your ears, then this isn't the movie for you. You need to go watch something a little bit more simple, because this movie can be considered complicated. It can be considered confusing, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I really don't. If you're in the mood to pay attention and to get really sucked into a film, this is it. And then, like I said before, I really love the fact that they mixed both action and comedy and put it together so well. I mean, you're on the edge of your seat, wondering what's going to happen next. You're pumped up because of all the action, but even though you're leaning towards the front of your seat, you keep falling back in your seat from the laughter. So they did a really wonderful job at putting those two together and just absolutely nailing it. So again, I highly suggest you go see this movie. I think it's absolutely wonderful. It's an action, it's a comedy, it's rated R, so keep that in mind if you're thinking of a movie to watch with your kids. I don't think this is it. I mean, depending on your kid's age, of course, there is violence, there is torture, there's blood, there's guns, there's just a lot going on with the violent sense of it, so just keep that in mind when considering an age group to watch it. But yeah, I hope that was helpful, everybody, and I hope it's a movie that you go out and watch, and hopefully this gives you some idea if it's something you're going to be interested in, or even if it is something you're interested in, maybe you'll be able to understand when is a good time to watch it and when isn't. So yeah, go out, go watch it. I highly recommend it. Also, please like, subscribe, check out my other videos, and then also please go down to my description below. You will find my Twitter there, my Tumblr, and I think that is it. There may be others. I really don't know at this point. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching. I'm going to shut up now. See you later.